Hello, and thank you for agreeing to use adaptive learning in your course. My name is Misty Stone, and I am the QEP coordinator for Fayetteville State. If at any time you have any questions, comments, concerns, or even just some ideas for our QEP committee, please feel free to reach out to me at mstone3@uncfsu.edu. So, what I have recorded for you is a mini training on adaptive learning. And at the end, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. So, first off, objectives. So, from this mini training, what should you gain? At the end, you should be able to describe what adaptive learning is. You should be able to list 3 to 4 best practices of actually implementing adaptive learning in your course or courses. And you should be able to state how you will use adaptive learning in your courses. So let's begin with adaptive learning and what is it? So adaptive learning is data driven, it's calculated, it's a personalized approach to instruction and remediation. It provides a customized presentation of content, it addresses unique student needs, and it optimizes real-time feedback that's based on individual student performance. Adaptive learning is the polar opposite of the one-size-fits-all approach to learning. Adaptive learning engages the area between a student's comfort zone and their frustration zone. Intelligent adaptive learning technology assesses the zone of proximal development, the ZDP, and that assesses for optimum mastery of the material. ZDP is the area in between a student's comfort zone and their frustration zone. It's the area where students are not repeating material they've already mastered, nor is it challenging them at a level so challenging that they become frustrated, discouraged, or even reluctant to learning. This customized level of difficulty is designed to create smart students who aren't afraid to solve problems and creatively work out solutions. They can do this both in the classroom as well as outside of it. Adaptive learning can be described very simply as differentiation 2.0. Differentiation occurs when instructors use student performance data to make strategic tweaks to the content delivery, thinking process, work product, or learning environment in order to meet student needs. Adaptive learning kicks differentiation up a notch by employing a calculated system of real-time adjustments to instruction. These adjustments to instruction create a unique learning pathway that each student must take to achieve content mastery. If differentiation is the canoe traveling across the ocean known as the student instruction, then adaptive learning is the luxury cruise ship navigating across the same ocean. Adaptive learning and the advantages. The advantages of adaptive learning are immense. However, here are just a few of the key advantages. Students receive the right lesson at the right time with the right level of difficulty as they progress toward mastery. The student's prior knowledge becomes the foundation and the driving force for their learning experiences. Professors are able to shift their roles from being the sole content provider to being the facilitator of student learning. Unique gaps in understanding are identified individually and addressed head-on with students. Academic honesty is promoted and cheating is virtually eliminated. Frameworks such as the multi-tiered systems of support and practices such as response to intervention are fully supported. There are endless benefits to adaptive learning technology. Students can track improvement and develop a sense of personal responsibility for their academic progress. Students who've fallen behind on a subject have additional resources to draw from, and professors can develop objectives and syllabi tailored specifically to the classroom of students before them. Applying adaptive learning in the classroom. Because it is complex and it's highly calculative in nature, it is difficult for professors to fully implement adaptive learning through the normal practice of creating a detailed syllabi. Although strategic syllabi produces Differentiation in instruction. Adaptive learning in the classroom is usually accomplished through the use of computer-based or online educational systems. These educational systems are able to utilize algorithms to provide customized presentations of content at various levels of difficulty. This allows instructional adjustments to be made in a much more efficient manner when compared to your traditional syllabi. These systems become tools that afford professors with valuable opportunities to expose students to much more in-depth and responsive levels of differentiation, which is the heart of what adaptive learning truly is. It is important to highlight that adaptive learning is only one technique for providing personalized learning for students. Because of its data-informed nature, adaptive learning shows great promise in impacting the individual needs of students. It is not a new concept in education, so there are many useful tools available to educators. These tools are great resources that will help educators infuse adaptive learning in schools in order to transform classroom instruction. On the slide is just a few listings of different technologies that can be utilized for adaptive learning. When it comes to adaptive learning, be picky. As the professor, when you're trying to choose which type of technology or computer-based learning you're going to use for your classroom, be picky. Make sure the adaptive learning software you choose is doing what it's meant to be doing, challenging students at an appropriate level, moving at a student's own pace, and still mimicking that student and professor experience. With adaptive learning, students should not be told the answer, but instead challenged to strategize solutions based on individualized feedback and live progress analysis. Students should never feel rushed or bored by the material in front of them, and adaptive learning software should always be engaging. If your student is disinterested, they'll never be motivated to learn. Finally, make sure your student is right for adaptive learning technology. Some students prefer more human interaction, and that is perfectly fine. Implementation using best practices. So some best practices to help you get started. Know your student body. Before you start putting a strategy together, identify who your learners are by conducting a comprehensive audience analysis. Revise, reuse, and retool. Once you get a sense of what students are looking for, you may see opportunity to repurpose some of your existing items. Identify building block components early. Because technology will be a key driver for the strategy, evaluate alternate technologies early in the process. This will help you better develop other building blocks. Engage in peer consultations. If possible, reach out to other professors or universities who have implemented such a strategy so you can learn from real-life examples of adaptive learning solutions that actually work. Test and evaluate. Despite the temptation, don't launch with a big bang theory. Instead, do a pilot rollout first. That is why you are working with the QEP. That is our purpose. The QEP committee's purpose is to do this pilot. So eventually we can roll this out to more courses. So do a pilot first. Evaluate results before deploying to a broader audience. A key to successful strategy development and implementation is adaptation. As part of your strategy, put in place processes to regularly review, revise, and adapt the tactics to ever-changing student needs. With so many changes taking place each day in technology as well as in educational approaches, having a build once and never change strategy is bound to fail. Stay focused. As you already know, adaptive online learning is never about the technology. While technology is certainly a key to making the strategy work, it is just an enabler. If designed appropriately, good strategies, too, will adapt to the technological environment prevalent across our campus. For example, a well-designed adaptive learning strategy should allow students to learn using their smartphones, tablets, laptops, and even their desktop computers. There should also be sufficient flexibility built into the strategy so the students can learn when and where they want, not just if they are on campus. However, to achieve those results, it is vital that professors stay focused on course objectives. to allow flexibility in learning, and not to get sidetracked by specific learning tools or technologies. Thank you for your time during this mini training. And again, if you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to reach out.